All right, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and do what? Amen. And once you have life, you must have what? Hope. So trust in the Lord. So I just want to use this opportunity. I'm not the chairperson for this morning's event. It's my able. Where is she? Get up, man. My able Mrs. Easy. She will be the chairperson for this occasion. Can you clap for her? All right, very good. So my duty is just to pray. But however, I'm going to be calling on Mrs. Davis. I just love the Lord. To do prayers. And after that, Mrs. Young will be coming with her song. She was not told, but she's always ready. All right, call Mrs. Davis. And after Mrs. Davis, Mrs. Young.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Almighty God, we give you thanks for this gift of another day. We thank you for your continued faithfulness and your goodness. We thank you for your divine performance. Lord, as we are gathered for this competition, we ask, oh God, that you will oversee everything. We pray for each member of each team that they have prepared, that they will deliver effectively, that the game will proceed well, it will be fair, and that at the end of it, Lord God Almighty, in the midst of everything, you will still be glorified. We commit ourselves into your hand now, and we thank you for what you shall do. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. 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 Thank you, Mrs. Julia. Over to you, Mrs. Julia. There's a clap for Mrs. Julia. That's I just love her. Always ready, always ready. All right. You see, those of you that don't want to debate, you see the food and the water is for debaters. Yes. Yes.
Hear me, that's the supporter. And supporter.
Yes. So you cannot have debate and nothing for you.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Now, many of us feel that we, sometimes we feel inadequate, but as long as we give ourselves up to be used by God, He will use us. All right? Lord, when you placed your hand on me, I knew that I would never be the same. For in the moment I became your servant, and since the day I only have one aim. My sole desire is to be used, an empty vessel longing to be filled by you. My sole desire is to serve you, Lord, to do your perfect will, to work each day and build your kingdom. This is my sole desire. Lord, I do not seek to claim the glory. I only wish to be under your control. For I know that you alone are worthy, and it's you who placed this longing in my soul. My soul desires an empty vessel longing to ourselves up to God, and He will use us to bless each other and to bless our students. Alright? Alright, so today we're going to have some blessings today with these very intelligent and, very intelligent and very good, very many other speakers. I see some outside preparing, so they need to come right away. So we are going to have here now Spiritually and Fearful. Alright, so let me run and get them. Alright?
Welcome you to the inaugural debating competition. Now, as a college, we know that a good teacher is not someone who knows his or her content only. A teacher is a package. You come to the table with different skill sets and abilities. And as a teacher training college, we ought to provide the opportunity for you to develop and grow and get ready for the classroom at large. A debating competition provides for a number of opportunities for students to develop their skills in reasoning, research, argumentative. Some of you are already very argumentative. But how to arrange those arguments into logical thinking and sharing of ideas. So it is great that as a teacher training institution, we are engendering this kind of development. I want to thank the conceptualizers from the Natural Science, School of Natural Science. They came up with the quiz competition, and here we are with the debating competition, and we are setting the tone for the rest of the TCJ family, because this is now part of TCJ, but its founding, Genesis, is here at Church Teachers College, and we ought to be proud of it. Now I want to wish all the participants every success. This is our first attempt at it. It's a learning curve, but once Spur Tree is participating, the winner is already declared. Competitions of this nature is not just about winning.
Amen.
It's not just about winning. It's about impacting your attitude. It's about the camaraderie. It's about losing with grace and dignity. And it's about just good rivalry. And that is so needed in our society today, that we can have strong debates and we don't turn it into any violent action. We can disagree to agree and agree to disagree. It's about collaboration. As a team, you have to collaborate. And it's about knowledge. It was particularly concerning to me when I was talking to a group of students, and it was clear that some topical issues in education, teachers in training, not okay with. We don't read anymore, we don't listen to news anymore. We don't know what's happening around us. And that's bad for the teacher. The teacher ought to be knowledgeable. Not about maths and English only, but what's happening in the social environment, the economic environment, the political environment. You ought to know. Because the brightest people are those of us who call ourselves teachers. If you're not the brightest, then our society has a problem. Serious problem. So, the best team will win, but they are all winners. They are all winners. And I'm happy to see that men are out in numbers. Men are out in numbers, well represented. And this is I'm not trying to say anything about that women must not be there, but you know the reason for that. Fewer men in education, unfortunately. Most of them elsewhere. Ladies are well settled and moving on. Men are always playing around, for the most part. But here they are, showing up, and they will be present. They will be present. So, congratulations, and let's get the competition going. Thank you. I don't know which two teams are these. Where is Spiritual? Spiritual. Yes. That is actually your house.
Good cheer for the real team coming in.
So Mississippi, without moving the roof, Mississippi over to you.
an honor to be here today as we gather for this exciting debate competition. Debating is not just about winning or losing, but about sharpening our ability to think critically, articulate our thoughts clearly, and engage in respectful discourse. Each team has prepared diligently to present their arguments, and today we look forward to a spirited exchange of ideas. We hope that this debate will be both intellectually stimulating and enjoyable for all. Let the debate begin. Before I introduce the teams, I'm going to go through a few rules, and I need you to listen attentively. So this one is for the audience. Disruptions, procedural objections, and verbal interruptions from team members or the audience are not allowed. Mockery, personal insults, and disparaging comments are also discouraged. Teams and their supporters are expected to show respect towards their opponents, fellow participants, and also the venue. And we are also teachers in training, so that should count for something. Alright, so we are going to be having clean fun. Alright. Quickly. Alright, so the competition, as you know, consists of 2 stages. So we have the knockout round, and then we will have our 3rd place playoff and final after this round. So the format begins with the first proposition speaker, who has 7 minutes to present the team's case in support of the motion, followed by the first opposition speaker, who has 7 minutes to respond and present counter-arguments. The second phase involves a second opposition and opposition speakers given 6 minutes to further Ms. Fulgen, Mrs. Mushet, and Mrs. Wade Sutherland. Your timekeepers are Mr. Hardin and Mrs. Brown. A round of applause for your Alright, so our first match today will be between Spurtree and Fairfield. So you can quickly introduce yourselves.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Daniel Scott, and I'll be representing Spurtree.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deidre Francis, and I will be representing Spurtree.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Colleen Johnson, and I'm representing Spurtree.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aisha Montague, and I will be representing you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Okira Bremer, representing Fairfield.
Thank you, teams. And so, audience, I invite you now to be quiet because the debate is about to begin. Thank you. just to remind you of the mood, teachers in STEM fields should receive additional compensation to encourage their retention in the classroom. I invite the speaker for the
practical and project-based activities. Compensation, according to the Ministry of Finance Jamaica, refers to the combination of monetary and non-monetary benefits employees receive in exchange for the work they do. Compensation can either be direct or indirect, where direct compensation can be fixed as in wages or vary as overtime payments, and indirect compensation can change and include the benefits and services employees receive. Now, with these definitions in mind, the motion can be contextualized to say that teachers of all levels in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields should receive additional monetary or non-monetary benefits to encourage their retention in the classroom. Now, Jamaica has been moving into a period of embracing STEM education for a while now, with the nation now declared a STEM island. This focus is best geared towards transitioning the country into developing more unique innovations. According to the Chief Education Officer, Dr. Grace McLean, in 2020, STEM education and its philosophies were used to underpin the entire school curriculum, primarily with aspects of project-based learning being incorporated to rebrand and develop both our technical and vocational subjects. This progress, however, is hampered by the flock of teachers that leave the island every year. Now imagine this. In 2022, over 1,500 teachers leave your country in search of other opportunities. Imagine if last year, in 2023, your JTA president comes out and on IRE FM he lets you all know that 10% of the teacher population has left the country in search of greener pastures over a 2-year period. We don't have to imagine it because it's the reality. In fact, the JTA president, the outgoing JTA president at the time, further posited that this is not the first mass teacher migration that Jamaica has experienced. However, unlike the previous crisis in the 1980s, these teachers are leaving the country but are still in the classrooms. So therefore, what is the issue? This fact that they're still in the classroom is evidenced by the United Kingdom hiring 483 Jamaican teachers in the last academic year. This paucity of teachers in the Jamaican classroom cripples the education sector, as there are fewer human resources available to serve the system initiative. This issue is actually amplified by the fact that schools are struggling to recruit new teachers in the areas where they are short-staffed. The Honorable Minister of Education, Faber Williams, in May 2023 noted that despite the collective teachers' colleges of Jamaica, including University College, that is MICO, and the University of the West Indies, produce over 1,000 graduates, but there are still significant shortages in the teacher workforce, primarily in math and science. It's the current plans of importing teachers from Cuba, Ghana, and India, while our world-class educators go off to the United States and England. What a shame. The simple truth is that there's a global teacher shortage. JTA President Dayton Johnson said that there are 44 million teachers needed worldwide. And first world countries are willing to pay the higher salaries. And that's why the teachers are all flocking there to fill vacancies. Statistics show that Jamaican teachers specifically are sought after, with 44% of the 1,100 work visas allotted to secondary education teachers given by the UK government were distributed solely to Jamaican teachers. We cannot continue to lose our world-class educators because they are struggling to make ends meet. Because they are undercompensated. This would be similar to starving a goose that lays golden eggs. Rubbish! In 2020, the Democratic Party of the United States, which won that election in 2020, did some research on the effect of teacher pay and found that it not only improved teacher retention when they got more pay, but it also encouraged more students to pursue education degrees and to go into the classroom. This strategy is working because our teachers are moving towards a higher paying jobs. Simply put, encouragement makes work sweet. As such, the government proposes this policy for all teachers to receive additional compensation. The policy is as follows. Jamaican teachers at varying levels of the education sector, primary, secondary, and tertiary levels, will receive performance-based compensation as a bonus. These performances will include both external examinations, such as PEP, CSEC, and K, but also internal assessments, improvement of students over time, and overall competencies in the teacher subject area. Compensation will include monetary compensation, along with other indirect compensation packages such as leave opportunities, scholarships for further education, and professional development opportunities. Teachers who have not met the mark compensation will be provided with additional support to encourage better performances in the future. Because the goal is to have our students do better at the end of the day, right? Analysis of the teacher's performance will be performed internally by the school administration along with representatives from the National Educational Inspectorate. This policy will be implemented in stages with a priority aimed at STEM teachers. Teachers from other disciplines will receive benefits from the policy in the near future, but the focus must be put on reducing the vacancies in STEM. Teachers from other disciplines will receive benefits from policy in the near future, but focus must be put on reducing the vacancies in STEM areas due to the blatant deficits that exist. Our teachers need this support. We need to keep our teachers here. So let's try and meet them where they need to be met. My Deputy Prime Minister will expound further on teacher migration and how compensation can be used. Government pauses.
We now invite the first speaker of the opposition to respond.
Moderators, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Aida Matiku, and I stand resolutely against the motion that teachers in STEM fields should receive additional compensation to encourage their retention in the classroom. Firstly, I would like to redefine STEM as more than simply science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and instead define it as strategically teaching every moment. As educators, critical thinking skills, creativity, and the applications of innovations are not only attributes that should be credited to only STEM fields, but also to other areas of specialization, such as languages and social sciences, just to name a few. Today, as the first speaker of the opposition, I will be talking to you about the importance of incorporating STEM education into all courses to solve the gaps in STEM education, and as a result, solve the wider issues that have been behind the desire to retain STEM educators in the education sector. Our second speaker will be speaking about the issues that increasing solely STEM education compensation would cause in the education sector, as it would demean the importance of all other disciplines. The first speaker of the affirmative has tried to tell you, contradictory, that both all teachers should receive additional compensation to encourage teacher retention and STEM educators. The argument is that STEM educators supposedly deserve more compensation than other teachers. Therefore, secondly, when it comes to monetary benefits, is teaching such a cheap calling that the bait of more money is enough to keep them in jobs that are low on resources and low on teacher support? I would argue, in fact, that teachers are migrating to other pastures not only because of monetary compensation, but because of the lack of resources that are present in Jamaican schools. I will be discussing 2 points to support the notion that teachers in STEM fields should receive additional compensation to encourage their retention in the classroom. Firstly, STEM teacher retention will not solve the overarching issues of gaps in overall student STEM education. And this issue could instead be solved through curriculum overhaul and overall teacher compensation on a whole. In other words, increasing STEM teacher salaries may address issues related to STEM teacher retention, but does not effectively deal with systematic issues related to overall STEM education, such as the need for curriculum overhaul and adequate teaching resources related to this facet of education and to other facets of education. As an example, the CFC syllabus for the commonly pursued STEM-related subject mathematics was last revised in 2016. Worse still, the last CSEC syllabus revision for social studies was done in 2010. Now, one may attribute this lack of change to the curriculum to the longevity of the syllabus requirements, but we choose to view it as a problem or a system in need of updating. Additionally, as reported in the Gleaner in a 2018 article, 69% of Jamaican youth have identified lack of resources in schools as a factor affecting children's access to education, according to the findings of the first year report Jamaican poll. Now, you may say that that report was done 5 years ago, but as recently as 2021, in a National Teachers Consultation report, low levels of parental involvement in education and general inadequacy of resources and equipment were among issues identified by educators as contributing to low levels of motivation, again reported in the Gleaner. Low levels of motivation are issues that cause teachers to migrate and leave the country, and can also cause teachers to abandon the education sector altogether. So we can see how there is an issue in classrooms as it relates to both lack of resources and outdated curriculums. How does this all relate to STEM education? If curriculums are not being adequately updated and students lack proper resources, then STEM education and education in general will leave large gaps and issues that supersede teacher retention and shortages. Therefore, to solve this issue from the root, education into general education courses would solve the issues brought up by the a component already in most curriculums in some form. For example, biology and social sciences are already components of social studies and history courses on the C segment. Additionally, this education found in these humanities subjects can empower students to pursue fields that use STEM education, such as social work, psychology, and human and social biology. If this education was further included in existing curriculums, students would gain even more benefits from STEM education, regardless of specialization.
Alright, so you raise a good point, and STEM education could be incorporated in this curriculum, but where will you get the teachers if they're all going to England anyways?
Well, if teachers are migrating to different countries and you need teacher retention, you can encourage students who are pursuing STEM already in schools through increased resources to have a passion for STEM and to therefore from that passion seek to teach STEM related courses in teachers' colleges such as Church Teachers College and others. Therefore, you can solve the issue of teacher shortages by not only revamping the curriculum, but also encouraging students to pursue education in STEM. And this, right, so in conclusion, if all teachers were empowered with the knowledge to incorporate STEM into their curriculums, then there would technically be no shortage of STEM educators, and this would solve both the issues of additional compensation and teacher retention. So I leave you with this point. Education should empower students for all facets of life, both STEM related and non-STEM related. I thank you.
So we would have heard from the first speaker of the proposition and the first speaker of the opposition, where the first speaker would have introduced, set up the debate, introduced the pointers, and we also heard where the first speaker of the opposition redefined the moods and outline pointers to be discussed in the debate. We also heard her say that compensating teachers in the STEM field and not providing the resources is counterproductive. I wonder what the second speaker of the proposition has to say. We now invite the second speaker of the proposition. And team, just to note, remember that you can take points of information after your first minute and before your final minute, which are your protected minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Viewers online, esteemed judges, and all those under the hearing of my voice. I want to make mention of what my Prime Minister has ended or have heard in the middle of his speech. Encouragement, sweetening, labor. STEM subjects cannot be understated. Teaching these subjects require a certain je ne sais quoi. And what I mean by that is an appealing quality paired with a unique skill set, also with a vast knowledge of these subject areas to then graft complex ideas into lessons. The time and effort invested by those teachers, both in their own education and in daily preparation, are immense. And those in these fields can agree and say that compensation is only fair. Moreover, retention of qualified teachers is not just a local issue, it's a national priority. As according to J.V. Schultz and Mr. Flores, and the essay of improving teacher retention through support and development, that within the first 5 years, teachers are leaving the classroom for greener pastures. Greener pastures meaning higher income overseas, better standard of living, if you name it, better health care, better mortgage, better loans to get a vehicle. And how many of us want to, drive our own cars and own our own homes? Many of us can attest to that. If we fail to address this key factor that our STEM teachers are facing, then guess who failure will reach? Not the government, but the opposition. And if we, the government, don't curb this issue, we risk significant gap in the workforce, ultimately impacting the success of our country's goal as a STEM island. So, when I heard the opposition leader saying to include STEM in all subject areas, this would be too far-fetched or too far stretched, then, if you would.
Why don't we proceed?
Accepted.
Are you aware that in our current curriculum that it is encouraged that all teachers are teachers of STEM?
Yes, and I agree. But focusing mainly on science, technology, engineering, and math students, they are the trendsetters, the leaders, the persons who graduate from school, who teach the students who want to encourage or to divulge into these subjects. This building that we are standing in, this microphone that we are using, the stand that I'm using to support my book and tablet, it's all made by an engineer or a mathematician or a science teacher, if you will, or a science student, if you will. Also, it's not only just money we're just taking and throwing at just our STEM teachers alone. STEM teachers are the crux of society. Without STEM teachers, as elaborated before, we wouldn't have the buildings that we have. We wouldn't have the roads that we have. Even though there are questions at times, but still. And also, passion, I believe, cannot be encouraged. Students will have to be inspired, and then they will have to take up that notion or that belief to chart a way forward. Now, the Jamaican teaching salary, even with additional compensation, will not be close to those offered by the US or the United Kingdom. However, any pay increase that will improve the teacher's quality of life will influence them to move towards staying rather than leaving. Margaret Campbell, the principal of George's College, shared a testimony of losing 1/5 of her teaching staff by the summer of 2023. And by April of 2024, she received word from her former teachers that they were extremely homesick due to the stricter classrooms that reduce teacher creativity, longer working hours, and culture shock. However, the teachers decided to stick it out simply because their family needed the financial support, or remittance if you will. So, as my Prime Minister has stated before, let us meet our teachers halfway. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker and judges, I thank you.
education sector for years have been plagued by the pandemic of teachers' migration, disillusioned by meager salaries, under-resourced facilities, and increasingly challenging students. Notwithstanding this, the Ministry of Education is still hoping more Jamaicans will enter the field of education. Moderator, adjudicators, fellow debaters, and audience, good morning. My name is Stacey Fowler, and I'm excited to engage in the thought-provoking debate as an opposition speaker to the motion that teachers in the STEM field should receive additional compensation to be retained in the classroom. The first speaker of the opposition stated that based on the policy on the retention of teachers, that immediate focus will be placed on STEM educators and later focus on other educators. However, why should focus only be based on STEM educators? The second speaker stated the STEM educators are the fruits of society. That can be explained why they are asking for additional compensation for educators in the STEM field. This is inputting. It is a known fact that the government launched a $2.4 billion scholarship program Thursday, July 6, 2023 for individuals pursuing studies in STEM fields. Those in the aforementioned disciplines will be freed from the financial burden that other individuals who are pursuing studies in the education sector will have to endure. Yet the disciplines that are producing consistent outstanding results are not from the STEM disciplines. It has been proven with annual reports released by our assessment body that the pass rate in fields unrelated to STEM are consistently higher yearly. This is based on data released by the Caribbean Examination Council. Let us discuss the performance of students in the May-June 2023 exam. Only 43% of students received a passing grade for mathematics, representing the highest pass rates in 2021. Meanwhile, 78% of students who sat English A received grades 1 to 3, a 7% increase, who then should really be receiving additional compensation to be retained in the classroom, not accepted. To further illustrate my point, if teachers in the STEM fields receive additional compensation, it would undermine the value of other educators in other disciplines or subject areas. Furthermore, it is clear that the opponents are not cognizant of the fundamental principles that guide our profession, because Principle 2 in the Code of Ethics states, the teacher does not undermine the position, status, or influence of any colleague, and the teacher seeks to operate at all times in a context of mutual respect for the rights of other teachers. Thus, all disciplines act as a whole of a team in the education sector. Proposing additional compensation for STEM educators can only result in segregation among teachers and exploitation of existing disparities in salaries. I had commenced my argument with words from the Minister of Education, the Honorable Fayetteville Williams, published in the Jamaica Observer on May 26, 2023, which I will now reiterate. The education sector has for years been plagued by migration of teachers, disillusioned by meager salaries, under-resourced facilities, and increasingly challenging students. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a clear indication that the
African education sector suffers from the migration of teachers from all disciplines and not just STEM. Is it the case that STEM teachers are doing their jobs for the love of money and not out of life or for the overall development of the students? There are profound benefits that are embedded in the coining of the very term STEM, which should be transfigured into action to yield the results of economic growth of the Jamaican sector, which will therefore not be actualized if it's only monetary value, monetary compensation the educators are seeking. While higher compensation might attract and retain talented STEM teachers, there is limited evidence to suggest that increased pay directly improves students' outcomes or teaching effectiveness. Investments in professional development and teaching resources might be more effective in enhancing education quality. I appreciate the wise words of Henry Matisse, which states, I don't think outside the box, I think what I can do with the box. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a box here in the form of 4 disciplines in the education sector who are seeking additional compensation without to be compensated additionally when they have not proven that they need to engage in more years of studies than other disciplines. Additionally, they are breaching the very fundamental principles that guide our noble profession, as every field has a critical role to play in education. Thank you.
From the second speaker of the proposition, and he says, retention of STEM teachers is not a local issue, but an international one. And he also states that STEM teachers should be better compensated as they are more significant based on their contributions to society. Madam second speaker of the opposition came with statistics, and she raised the question based on the percentage of passage on the recent English and Maths exam, which set of teachers should be better compensated. I now invite the third speaker of the proposition to respond.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorable esteemed judges, good morning. Before I get into my speech, there is a pressing matter I'd like to address. Despite what the opposition may want to or try to imply, it is clear that firstly, the opposition states that examination results in other fields are higher than STEM fields. Clearly, they are agreeing with us, the government, understands that STEM fields are what we should be focused on. Secondly, they seem to have misunderstood the point that the government, or the motion the government have brought across, which is to encourage STEM teachers to stay in the classroom. Also, they are opposing the fact that teachers are getting compensated. Aren't teachers people as well? Should they work for free? Don't they need to raise their families just like any other person? The motion before clear that teachers in STEM fields should receive additional compensation to encourage retention in the classroom. And we strongly support this because the critical issues in the STEM fields, and STEM as defined before as science, technology, engineering, and math, in our society, it clearly outlines that we are failing our students. In 2021 to 2023, the Jamaica Gleaner posted an article reflecting that 43% of our students would have passed in STEM fields. However, of the number of students who would have taken that exam, that is not impressive in numbers. Looking further, we focused on on an article posted in the Observer, which it focused on the results of PEP students. Of the 13,000 students, of the 34,000 students who took the exam, we have more than 15,000 of them not achieving proficient levels in math and science fields. We also look at the CXC classes, 18% of which students have received lower than pass in math and science. It is clear that the government, therefore, supports the motion that STEM teachers should receive more compensation for them to stay in the classroom. Thank you.
Panel of adjudicators, my teammates, my opponents, good morning. I just want to highlight a few things. Number one, the Prime Minister, his argument, it vaporized like a gas. It's just out there. The second speaker, pi did not equal, it was not equal to r squared, therefore the circle did not circumference. And the third speaker, a squared plus b squared, definitely was not equal to c squared, so it did not angle triangle. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are simply saying on the side of the opposition is that you cannot only be solely interested in the retention of STEM teachers while there is a worldwide phenomenon in the retention of other teachers in other STEM areas. Now, the third speaker of side proposition came and she was quoting statistics, but in truth and in fact, her statistics agreed with our stance that the STEM teachers, they claim that they are doing such a significant job, quote unquote, and the results do not reflect the significance of the work that they are doing. And so, do we think that these people should be getting more salary? Well, as a teacher myself, I think so. However, all persons, regardless of their discipline, deserve of an increase in their compensation. We should stand united as educators, not only looking out for our individual selves, but we should look out for everyone, that everyone is equally compensated. STEM, of course, is important, but the other areas are important. In my opinion, I think that you should compensate literacy and numeracy teachers more, because if our students not accepted, if we do not educate our students in basic reading, comprehension, and writing skills, how will they be able to function in your so significant What about
Spanish and social studies, the ability to be conscious about one's culture and environment and be able to communicate. What about English language and English literature, the vehicle through which we communicate? What about geography, the ability to understand spatial data and information, whether we consider it to be STEM or no STEM? Other teachers are leaving other areas, there must be retention in the other areas. So what we are saying is that you are important, we are important, all of us are important. Therefore, all of us should have an increase in salary to encourage retention right across the board. Now, look at it. I am glad that you have made our case, because you said that when the teachers go overseas, they become homesick. You run away and you become homesick. Eventually, you go to foreign and look where you wind up. Right back in the same system that you were running away from. Now, if you just work with us, love it for better salaries for all of us, do you think that any of us would have to run away? I dare not think so. So what we are saying, the side of the opposition, integrate STEM into all subject areas. Train teachers regardless of the areas that they teach: Spanish, English, IT, geography, social studies, history, and look at the big old problem we have in history. Regardless of the discipline, all teachers must have STEM competencies and abilities to teach and instruct students regardless of the discipline. We should also focus on redefining STEM as not only make it so fixated on technical abilities, but also the creative abilities of our students that are not accepted. Also the creative and innovative abilities of our students. That is areas. And also we should work together in ensuring that all of us are equally compensated regardless of our discipline. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. Andrew Holness, might have made the statement that Jamaica is a STEM nation, but without the creativity and authenticity that is derived from the unique culture of Jamaica, there would be no Jamaica. And so, we the opposition rest our case by saying, pay all teachers equally. I thank you.
They're saying that given the statistics, the number of students failing maths and English, failing in the STEM areas, the teachers should be better compensated to retain them. Our opposition is saying not only STEM teachers need retention of every single teacher because they are all equally important. What a debate. And so, we're going to allow the teams 1 minute to work on the rebuttals, and then we'll have the final analysis.
Judges, judges, audience, teammates, and my opponents. The motion states, teachers in STEM fields should receive additional compensation to encourage their retention in the classroom. Yes, the opposition agrees with this statement, but we also want to add another dimension to this statement, that STEM teachers, history teachers, social studies teachers, language teachers, IT teachers, literacy and numeracy teachers, teachers right across the board are deserving of additional compensation because of the work that we do. All of us write the same lesson. All of us write the same unit plans. All of us do the same action plans and action research. All of us, we are doing the same job equally to impact the lives of students right across the board. And as such, to encourage retention, we should pay all teachers equally and increase their salaries so that they are able to stay within the context of the classroom. The proposition made some arguments that STEM is a more significant area, and that is what the government needs to drive innovation and creativity in the country. But without the work that is done in other subject areas, in other disciplines, in other content areas, the STEM areas will not be able to survive. The work of language teachers, literature teachers, literacy and numeracy teachers is necessary to fuel the work that is needed to be done in STEM. The consciousness that comes from other subject areas in order to enable students to perform in STEM areas is necessary. And as such, the opposition is saying, while yes, STEM teachers are leaving for greener pastures, other teachers in other areas are indeed leaving for greener pastures, and governments and agencies across the board should come up with models and strategies and policies for the effective retention of teachers in all subject areas. The opposition rests its case. Thank you.
Adjudicators, side government, side opposition, and members of the audience, good morning once again. Before I start my rebuttal, I'll just let you all know that while the third speaker's speech was so exciting and invigorating, I heard not one source to back up his claims. So maybe his emotional presentation might be very good, but we have to look at the facts at the end of the day. Now, the first member of opposition mentioned strategically teaching every moment as a definition for STEM. Strategically teaching every moment. A wonderful idea in your fantasy land. I didn't see a source for that definition either, since that opposition just wants to make things up and live in their fantasy world where all the teachers can buy a BMW and have 6 kids and live a very happy life in their mansion. They want to redefine curriculums, which mentions that they already include STEM in it, because she mentioned the fact that social studies curriculum in CXC has biology in it already. So you want to redefine it further, to add more biology into it. Why not have them go into the biology class and have no biology teachers, since you don't want to encourage them to stay? They also said that side government wants them teachers to get more compensation. Let me clarify clearly. Our policy states that our priority will be STEM teachers at first. We'll launch the policy with STEM teachers. However, teachers from every discipline will benefit from it once the program is piloted and the STEM teacher vacancy is corrected so that our world-class teachers stay here. They say that STEM teachers are only working for the money. If that's the case, maybe all teachers should just work for free. Pro bono. Yes, man. That's what side government wants. On top of all of that, they say that every teacher is a STEM teacher. But yet still they reject our proposition for compensation for STEM teachers. So they just want to get the same low pay without any benefits. Woe is on the side opposition. They confuse you with emotions without bringing in the facts. Side government is on the side of the teachers. We want our world-class teachers to stay here. Before they go out there, let them stay here and build Jamaica so that we can be the place where people want to live, work, raise families, and business. And our teachers should be able to enjoy our nation the same as anyone else. The government is.
Alright, so we have heard the closing remarks. The proposition says, encourage retention, pay all the teachers equally as all teachers work hard in their individual areas. The proposition says, you have no facts to support it. Stop living in a fantasy world and wake up and smell the coffee. STEM teachers deserve more money than regular teachers. I will give the adjudicators a minute to wrap up their discussions and grades, grading, etc. And then one representative will come to provide the final results.
Time to present the panel of judges. Now, as with any debate, there has to be a clear winner. However, there are guidelines that must be adhered to ensure that the winning team is the winning team without parity. So we know that each person on a debating team has a specific role, and they have guidelines that they must follow in order to ensure that their teams win. The first speaker's role is to clearly set out the roadmap for the debate, highlighting what each speaker is going to be presenting. The second speaker picks up where the first speaker has left off and provides more blood, puts more information into it, and tries to sway us to their side. The third speaker sums up everything and presents a coherent, well-compiled argument at the end. And then we have the rebuttal. For our first speakers of the proposition team, he clearly outlined what his teammates would be doing. However, there needed to have been more information given to the audience to set up your roadmap so that we could easily follow it. Other points highlighted by the judges. Both teams showed excellent research skills. Let's give them a hand for that. However, one team not only presented the facts, but crafted arguments that were supported and managed to convince the judges of their position. While it is important for us to have facts and share our facts, they need to be integrated in our arguments as a means of convincing the public. And government officials should know that because they do that all the time. Okay, counterclaims. The third speaker, he had good counterclaims with his points, and he captivated, as the first speaker of the proposition team said, captivated the audience with passion. Passion is not a bad thing in a debate. You need to be passionate about what it is that you're presenting,
because your audience reads that in your body language. All right, that being said, I've spoken enough and I know that you're waiting to hear who the winners are. So according to our deliberations as the judges, we've looked at the best speaker. We have identified one from each team and then we'll tell you who the overall best speaker is. So from Spur Tree, our best speaker is Mr. Daniel Scott. And from opposition team, Mr. O'Perry. Overall, our best speaker today is Mr. O'Perry. As Dr. Anderson said earlier, there can only be one winner, but they're all winners. And let's just give everyone a round of applause. But the one dawn of today's debate happens to be here. run. Yes, and today, similarly, they will be debating the moot. Retention of STEM teachers is not, Teachers in the STEM fields should receive additional compensation to encourage their retention in the classroom. Alright, and so Davidson will be the proposition and Fairfield is the opposition. Alright, and so that's gone through the rules, the same rules apply. Just to know, members, you are allowed to take points, to give and take points of information. You can accept the points of information after your first minute and before your last minute. You can either accept or you can decline. So you don't have to take it if you don't want. Alright? And so we will have 3 rounds, first speakers, second speakers, third speakers, and then you will be given a minute to write your rebuttal. Alright? And so we wish you all the best and be the better team we now invite the first speaker of the proposition to go. Oh, you need to introduce yourself so the judge can get the name.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamal Arena. I double math major. Madam Chairperson.
Good afternoon, my name is Valerie Dixon. I'm representing Debate Competition.
Good afternoon, my name is Kimona Robinson and I'm representing Debate.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kimona Scarlett and I am representing South Negron.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kizito Williams and I will be representing New Brother.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jordy Vaughn and I will be representing New Brother.
Audience, remember the rules. We can clap after each presentation.
Madam Chairperson, panel of judges, timekeepers, co-debaters, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. May I say, I stand in firm support of the motion that teachers in STEM should receive additional compensation to encourage their retention in the classroom. But how can I convince you or anyone that teachers in this field deserve higher compensation or pay if you don't truly understand what STEM is and its importance? STEM is an acronym for subjects of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, which are incredibly crucial in the development of the country, innovation, guiding the country to unlock its full potential, driving prosperity and productivity in a sustainable and ethical way for all Jamaicans. Sounds important, doesn't it? Because it is. So, Judge, why would we risk underpaying the same people who are working their very best to make this dream of Jamaica a reality? Judges, my argument for today is that the teachers of STEM receives additional compensation, then it will result in these teachers being more motivated, as we all know how it is to be a teacher of the subject in STEM. At this time, would you believe if I told you that teachers of STEM are being stretched thin? Research drawn from the IRA FM website read that these teachers are leaving Jamaica not only because of the heavy workload, but also because they believe they are being underpaid. Judges, excuse my pattern, but them have 10 teachers that teach 7 different STEM subjects and them still want to push more classes for them. Is that fair?
No.
What kind of world are we living in, judges? The sad truth is that the compensation they are receiving is way below the work rate, and that needs to be fixed immediately before we lose any more of our skilled teachers. You might ask, why should I believe him? He's just another college student. Matter of fact, he's just another freshman. He don't know what I'm talking about. Believe me, when I say this freshman, I've been in front of the classroom for 3 years. I've seen the struggle these teachers go through, working 24/7, not getting any breaks, still having to watch their accounts every time they go to buy a slice of bread. They still have to be budgeting on the things they want simply because they can't afford it, living paycheck to paycheck. Always tired from the heavy workload, can't even afford Arizona because of the drinking pipe water and call it a day. Simply because they do not want to touch tomorrow's lunch money. To tell the truth now, who believes it's a nice or great way of living? Who? Nobody. Compensation is really needed. It is well known. It is a well-known fact that Jamaica currently does not compare when it comes to the salary on a global scale. After doing the necessary research, I was able to find that math and other STEM teachers in the USA are getting $55,366 a year on average. Using the exchange rate of 158 Jamaican dollars to $1, then that would translate to over 8.74 million Jamaican dollars a year. Wouldn't you, as a STEM teacher, want to make that, or even just 60? What the fuck would I say to 40? Let's move over to European countries. The Netherlands, STEM teachers over there making £67,638 per year. Denmark, £66,673 per year. Ireland, £63,278 per year. Let's be real. Compared to Jamaica, where teachers here are only making $160,000 per month, which translates to only $12,000 per year. Come on, man, talk the truth. While the opposition might come and argue that it is we must do it for the love and not for the money, or even argue that the country simply does not have enough money to pay these workers, or that one teacher is getting that one teacher should not be getting high compensation, and that we should not listen to any of this. It is hard shit. It is hard shit, sir. Sir, excuse me. They are excuses. They are monuments of nothing. While a student might come to a social studies class with an open mind, you will not find as many. While a student might come to a social studies class with an open mind, in this generation, you will not find as many, not even quarter, coming to a math class with an open mind. Because to this generation, math is hard, science is hard, technology is even hard, engineering, don't even talk. Judges, increasing the pay will be an excellent way to retain and attract new teachers that will be able to shape the minds of this young generation, teaching them that STEM is not hard and you just need to have an open mind and be focused. If potential students that are qualified heard that salaries of STEM teachers have been increased, then surely more people would sign up to become a great teacher of tomorrow. A great STEM teacher of tomorrow. It's a fact that I can't even eat. As if STEM students are now seeing what they are working tirelessly as STEM teachers are now seeing what they are working tirelessly reflect at one's end. Then nothing could get these teachers to change. Nothing. And as a fellow teacher in training,
Madam Chairperson, judges, members of the government, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. Amin Raimi, a Lebanese-American writer and intellect and political activist, once said, "Only a well-rounded intellect, a spirit nourished in the eternal sources of intelligence and culture, of justice and wisdom, is a safeguard against both indifference and skepticism." It is important for the next generation to be well-rounded intellects, as they will lead the world into the next chapter of humanity. This is why we oppose the argument that teachers in the STEM fields should receive additional compensation for retention in the classroom. My second speaker will provide detailed information on why we oppose it. My third and closing speaker will summarize and refute any upcoming points that the government will present. While STEM has revolutionized the world, this is not the sole purpose of education. It is important that we consider teachers and students that fall outside of this field. This moot is developed from the constant increase in the migration of STEM teachers. Now, the government has been considering to increase compensation for STEM teachers since 2015 in an article published by the Gleaner. The president of JTA at the time, Mr. Norman Allen, openly disagreed with this initiative. In 2023, Clovis Nelson, a Jamaican creative educator, defined STEM as a popular contemporary learning portal through which students are educated in 4 primary disciplines: science, technology, mathematics, and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Before the government considers increased compensation for STEM teachers, they should consider the failure rates in STEM subjects that have increased significantly over the years, with mathematics having only a 33.6% pass rate this year. CSEC science subjects, biology, chemistry, and human and social biology having pass rates below 80%, according to the Gleaner article published in August 20 of this year. So if the pass rate them so low, why the STEM teacher them pay for pay? Now we opposition believe in the words of an unknown author that said, teaching is hard work. To this notion, should it be a case where teachers become solely financially motivated? With an increase in compensation for STEM teachers to be retained in the classroom, the motivation will become financial, which I believe will develop a classroom environment where the teachers show up for the compensation. The government argues that STEM teachers should be compensated more because STEM teachers are working hard to make the country better. So my question to you is it a case where other subject teachers are not working hard to make the country better? Isn't all teachers watching their accounts when they go to spend? And yes, Jamaica does not compensate any of their teachers It can also be argued that STEM subjects for some students can be difficult. But consider this, isn't all subject areas difficult for some students? Yes, it is. In my traditional high school classroom, I had a classmate who was exceptional in mathematics and physics. However, in many other areas, she was underperforming. While I, on the other hand, go ahead.
So, you say there are students who are weak in certain areas. Do you believe that there are not more students that are weaker in the STEM area than other areas? So you have students out there that are weaker in science and math, and students who are weaker in social studies?
If it's a case where they're weaker in every area across the board, no, you can't tell me about that. So it's a case where they're weaker in all across the board. Why are you compensating only STEM teachers?
Well, you know, you still have not answered my questions. I asked if you believe that there are students that are weaker in areas such as social than areas like math and science.
students. So why is it that only STEM teachers should receive compensation for retention when all teachers have the same struggles? Students finding subjects difficult. It is important to consider the following. Increasing compensation for STEM teachers will result in disequilibrium in the economy. This is in career paths and job opportunities. Teachers outside of the STEM field will also lose interest in their jobs, and students will become disengaged in subjects outside of the STEM, seen as the government is pushing that as important. And finally, high STEM failure rates in schools. I believe the government should investigate why are there such high failure rates in STEM subjects. Investigate the root cause of decline. Investigate the root cause of the problem before throwing money at the problem, because increasing the pay won't necessarily help the problem. With this, opposition is.
Alright, so we would have heard from the first speaker of the propositions who defined the key terms, would have provided some points, some sources which he retrieved from a notable source, and he gave evidence to compare the payment rates of STEM teachers in other countries to that of Jamaica. Our opposition would have introduced the moot and outlined the other team members and the role they will play in the rest of the debate. She is also saying that the government should consider the failure rate of the various STEM subjects before considering additional compensation for them. This is shaping up to be a very interesting one. We now invite the second speaker of team proposition to respond.
Esteemed chairpersons, respected judges, timekeepers, fellow debaters, and distinguished guests, good afternoon. To reiterate the definitions, let us look at what are STEM field teachers. STEM field teachers are educators who specialize in teaching subjects related to science, technology, engineers, and mathematics. STEM teachers play a crucial role in preparing students for careers in these growing and high-demand fields because their expertise is often sought in both education and the industry. So we can imagine that retaining them in classrooms can be challenging without offering competitive compensation. Now let us look at what retention is. Retention is keeping teachers in their jobs for a long period of time without them leaving for other careers or positions. In education, teacher retention is important because when experienced teachers stay in the classroom, students benefit from their knowledge and consistency. And so with that, I will do 3 main points. First point, high demand for STEM professionals. In Jamaica, the demand for STEM professionals is growing due to the country's increasing focus on technology and innovation. For instance, the Jamaican government has identified technology and engineering as key sectors for economic growth. According to the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, there is a notable shortage of qualified STEM workers in the country. Despite this, STEM teachers in Jamaica face relatively low salaries compared to their counterparts in the private sector. For example, a recent report from the Jamaica Teachers Association highlighted that while STEM professionals can earn significantly higher salaries in industries such as IT and engineering, teachers in these fields often receive lower wages. This disparity can lead to high turnover rates among STEM educators as they leave for more lucrative positions. Competitive compensation could help retain talented teachers in the classroom and ensure a stable, skilled workforce to support Jamaica's STEM ambitions. Second point, student success in STEM fields. Retaining high-quality STEM teachers improves student outcomes in these critical fields, boosting future economic growth. It is imperative to use the means of giving additional compensation as a way to encourage STEM teachers' retention, because having retained these STEM educators can open doors for the next generation to come in to invent new gadgets, build faster computers, or even help solve big problems like finding cures for diseases. These new ideas help people, and when lots of people work on these kinds of things, the country makes more money, which helps everyone in the economy. Third point, teacher morale. Higher pay boosts teacher morale, leading to better engagement with students. Let's delve into how increased compensation can positively impact teacher morale and student outcomes as it relates to Jamaica. First, increased engagement and performance. Teacher engagement. Teachers who feel adequately compensated are more likely to be engaged in their work. This increased engagement translates to better preparation, more interactive teaching methods, and improved student outcomes. Evidence from research, as studied by the International Monetary Fund on public sector pay, suggests that higher compensation for teachers is associated with better teaching performance and higher student achievement. While this study is not specific to Jamaica, it supports the general principle that teacher morale and effectiveness improve with better pay. Next point, student outcomes. Impact on students. When teachers are motivated and satisfied with their pay, their enthusiasm and commitment to teaching increase. This improved engagement can lead to more effective teaching, higher student participation, and better academic performance. So in Jamaican context, according to 2021 analysis by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, schools with better funded teacher salaries showed improvements in student performance metrics, such as higher scores in national exams. Third point, higher pay linked to student achievements. When teachers are paid more, students often do better. In Jamaica, there is evidence showing that when teachers earn higher salaries, their students tend to perform better academically. This is because better pay can boost teachers' motivation and help keep them in the classroom longer, leading to improvements in student grades and test scores. My statement here can be proved by the research done in Jamaica that supports the idea that higher teacher pay can enhance student achievement. For example, a study from the Jamaica Teaching Council found that schools where teachers received higher salaries saw noticeable improvements in student performance. This evidence suggests that better compensation helps retain motivated teachers, which in turn positively impacts student learning outcomes. This is the end of my speech. Thank you.
Judges, students, members of the government, good afternoon. Before I start my speech, I would like to ask the first speaker of the government, since as teachers in the STEM field are being pressured, how can this same amount of pressure not be said about us, about the English teachers who are given extra courses, about the social studies teachers who are given work in geography when they are clearly ready for social studies? Or how about English teachers who are completely ready for English courses but have to do, let's say, because they have a minor in social studies, they have to do geography. They are not prepared for that. How about while teachers are trying their best to prepare for these classes, what are they going to do when it comes time to prepare for extra classes? STEM teachers are not the only teachers who have to deal with this. For the second speaker, if teachers are being paid less and receiving less in the STEM fields, why did you choose it? We all know that it is a low-paying job when you come into the teaching society. You knowing that you are going to be paid less proves that you just want to be paid more for what exactly? Since morale can positively impact STEM teachers, I ask, what about the teachers being paid less? What about our morale? My first point, there will be disequilibrium in the economy. This can affect the value of the career paths and job opportunities that students would want. Because why should I try to become a teacher of English or anything if I could just go into science, technology, engineering, and math? I could just go overseas, do my degree, do whatever I want. I don't need to focus on anything that has to deal with anything that has to deal with subjects outside of the STEM field. Also, this can create an increasing level of resentment from the other educators, and a balanced approach is needed to stop these strikes. We know strike. I've been there when strikes happen, and teachers are underpaid. That is the reason why they strike. So how will it be when the STEM teachers are at school, happily paid, and the English teachers are not there on strike? My second point, teachers outside the STEM field will lose interest in the jobs, and students again become disengaged in the subjects. With a high emphasis on STEM education, teachers who are engaged in other subjects will eventually view their efforts as futile. This can cause teacher stress, and we all know what happens. I don't need to reiterate or go deep into that. Teachers being underappreciated or undervalued is a real problem. It also affects the importance that students see, because why would I focus on English? Why would I focus on my grammar? For instance, pleasant good morning, everyone. Why should I care? I'm just doing science, technology, engineering, and math. I don't need to worry about my grammar. And finally, there is a notably high STEM failure rate. As the STEM concept of education grows roots in Jamaica, in the Jamaican educational structure, the most obvious question to contemplate revolves around the methodological competence of teachers and students, as stated by Clovis E. Nelson, in whom has a doctorate in education, Masters of Arts in English, and a Masters of Fine Arts. How can I, as a student, worry about other classes? How can I, as a student, focus on other institutions or anything when I only have to focus on STEM? And it is not everyone in whom does these subjects are powerful in these subjects. So students will be affected by the higher emphasis on the subjects that they are not particularly excellent at. Why, again, should I focus on any other subject? Focus on my grammar, focus on my history. Why should I even care about Jamaica when all I should care about is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? Should I really focus on improving my phone, or should I focus on improving our culture? Will my phone stop young violence? Will my phone stop child abuse? Will my phone emphasize anything that has to deal with my government? Will it? Because even though I can go and look at it and see Donald Trump exercising his, what should I say, racism, I must know that my culture comes first. I can.
Alright, so we have heard from the second speakers. The second speaker of the proposition says there's a high demand for STEM professionals, and retaining them will lead to academic success and also improvement in the economy. It will also increase teacher morale, hence outcome. Our opposition member says, why should we pay STEM teachers more? It will only cause a disruption in the education system, in that teachers will lose interest, and we don't want war in the classroom. So we want the teachers to be operating on one level, and fairness is important. Let's hear from the third speaker of the proposition.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Take off the mic.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, my teammates, and my position. We're not ignoring the battles happening in other countries. We're simply addressing the crisis happening in the STEM areas. The salaries of teachers are long fought war. We're simply introducing a solution to one of the battles at hand. The challenge of retaining STEM teachers in Jamaica is a multifaceted issue that requires a comprehensive approach. Additional compensation is a crucial element in addressing this challenge. By investing in its STEM educators, Jamaica can ensure that its education system remains robust, capable of preparing students for the demands of the modern world, ultimately contributing to the nation's long-term growth and success. Yes, other disciplines are important. I am doing special ed. But they are not the areas in dire need of attention. STEM subjects are key for the present as well as the future. I, for one, can attest to the struggles of STEM teachers. As recently graduating high school, I saw my math teacher struggling to teach nearly 40 students who learn differently. And we both know after lunchtime when people get restless, it's very hard to teach. And these teachers do their best. I am sure her pay does not reflect the challenges she is facing. Investing in STEM discipline is not a bad move. It is investing in our future, and in the long term, we are the ones benefiting. We are investing in a brighter Jamaica, in which all of us will thrive and prosper. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is where the world is heading. Let us not be blinded by the fancy words of the opposition, and look to the fact that if we do not intervene in the crisis on our hands, then God will turn in our words. Thank you.
Adjudicators, my fellow teammates, opposition, and freshmen and other seniors, good afternoon. Firstly, to address the last speaker. She made some valid points, for me, not for her. She made the point that after lunchtime, students are restless, right? Is that only for the STEM subject? Is that only for the STEM subject?
No, but let's be honest. The STEM subject demands some level of attention that it is hard for students to focus on. Not everybody likes mathematics, and I'm not saying not everybody likes English, but when we're in a society that English is the main language and mathematics is which are not lifestyle, then which subject you are 31% students pass mathematics this year.
Alright, thank you. To my second point, this team seems to have no access to Google, Chrome, or any other source. The first speaker stated that, the definition of STEM is this, that, and the other. However, he failed to provide a valuable source. The second speaker did the same thing, and here we are again with the third speaker. No valid source. They all speak from their brains. Right? My first speaker said some valid points about it would demotivate other teachers from teaching the other subjects. Because if I say, okay, you're a math teacher, I'm going to pay you more, right? The English teacher is going to be over here like, what am I doing wrong? Right? The failure rate for mathematics is 36, well, that's a pass actually, 33.6, right? That's a pass rate for mathematics. If I go ahead and improve the pay or compensate those teachers for having such a low pass rate, what is going to happen for the other teachers with high pass rate? I am going to be demotivated because I am doing good, you are doing bad, and you are getting paid for doing the bad. How does that make sense? Additionally, the first speaker said that $8.74 million after you convert it to Jamaican currency. Let me ask you a question. Are you spending that money in Jamaica? Have you been overseas and realized that the money over there may seem higher, but if you do not come back to Jamaica to spend it, it is the same value? Did you know that? Okay. So the next thing is that you said about, I'm not even going to talk about the teacher Maureen. That is a prime example of what happens when you specialize on STEM students and not English and other subjects. You cannot pronounce basic words like morale, right? And we're not even going to touch the first speaker because that's a whole other situation. Anyways, so instead of putting millions of dollars into increasing the salary for the STEM teachers, why not put all that money into giving the schools better resources so that the teachers themselves can address the issues? I can see labs, physics labs, chemistry labs, agricultural labs, and most of them don't have the simple basic needs that you need to do a proper lab. Persons have to be moving from this school to another school because that is the only school within the system, within that part of the parish that has a proper lab. Instead of putting the money into other teachers' pockets and leaving the other teachers out, we put it into building more resources for the teachers. Does that make sense? My last point. Yes, the crisis is real. Yes, there's a problem within the STEM teachers, but the real crisis, as I stated before, is in the failure of those subjects. I cannot be paying teachers for not doing what they have to do. We need to focus more on the mental part of it, because as you know, the students are not mentally there. It is not a thing about that maths is hard, but the mentality that the students have towards math, and the mentality that they have towards science. If you realize that this college is a college that has most of the math students. Other colleges have like 1 or 2. I've been on work and travel and I see 1 person in second year doing mathematics. So we need to focus on the betterment of the students and the resources in the school instead of putting all the money in one set of teachers' pockets. I rest my case.
All right. So, team proposition says compensating STEM teachers is just one solution to the long fought war. Focus on the STEM teachers majority of the problem. Team opposition is saying that will not work. Just pool the money and provide resources, and that will yield a bit more academic results. We will now give each team a minute to prepare their vote.
First of all, I'd like to, on behalf of our judges, thank you all for participating to share in this historical moment as CTC began this first inter-house debating tournament. The second match was pretty challenging, and that we see where each team tried to give of their best regardless of whether they spoke for a minute or a full 7 minutes and so on. So the first thing we would like for you all to do is to give them all a round. I'd like to address the issue of the best speaker. And for the motion was good. And on top of that, you were on your side in comparison to your other teammates. You were a bit clearer and so on. So in comparison to your team, we would have recognized you as the best speaker on that side among the team members. In the opposition, not much for work. We go work and study. Mr. Vaughan came back to Greenwood. And his confidence in rebutting statements and identifying the issue of resources and, in a sense, made it clear where he pointed out that the crisis that affects STEM, especially in the context of the dealing with retention and how it affects the failure rates, etc., had to do with the root cause of lack of resources. And for the opposition, we have identified him as the best speaker on that side. But the overall best speaker goes to Mr. Vaughan. There are two things we saw of importance because we speak about that roadmap where the first speaker sort of laid the path and how the second and third speaker develop and lead you to want to walk that pathway. And we witness, but it is good, we want to commend the third speaker for the government because many persons in debating who have become great debaters began as, I don't want to use the term, well, they were afraid, scared, and sometimes they speak for a couple of seconds and they step down. It's not a matter of seeing yourself as a failure, but seeing yourself as using that to break through. So one of the weaknesses for your side, the government side, was that if your third speaker had developed more, to put more meat into the argument, we could have strengthened overall. But we want to commend the effort because in debating, that's where we all start. Okay? And of course, many people tell you it's not easy to stand before a team or stand before people. So we want to commend her. And on the opposition side, the fact that their own third speaker, who also ended up being the one to come and rebut, but sort of looked on what would have said the issue about the quality of all teachers and the lack of resources, etc. The judges have given the opposition, which is what House is the win. You can speak with us concerning scores, etc. Thank you.
Alright, everybody, so the motion will be sent out tomorrow for third place and final. So, Spurgery, David Tannen, you and Spurgery will meet in the third place. And then Newfield and Fairfield will meet in the final.